Hello and welcome to an episode of This LS Swap. I'm your host Bob Vila, and today we pull out Torchy McTorcherson. Check out the, look at that potato chip. Ruffles. There is no, well, there is some, it's visible, but I don't think you can measure it. So that's toasty. And this is extremely toasty. Matter of fact, it's pretty incredible. Shout out to Clutch Masters that this thing did what it did for so long. It really took a beating. It was rated for like 500 foot-pounds, 550, I think. At the flywheel, yeah, this thing took some serious abuse. If you haven't seen me drive this thing, it smells awesome in here. Now that we pulled that out, I'm going to clean everything. Here is the flywheel, which is also Scorchy Boy. Nice. Very nice. Pretty. Even. So, I finally yanked out the transmission. Look at that pretty stuff. Avert your eyes. So, I got the trans out, obviously, since we're here and now. So, I had to swap out to a smaller throwout bearing, which was easy. Forgive me for not recording a lot of this. I'm definitely getting too old to be crawling around under a yanking transmission. It's just not easy. You know, it adds time. So I think it's time to put in something to hoist vehicles higher than that. Not that I don't really like this. It's just not tall enough to do transmission and stuff like this. So here is, man, this flywheel is incredible looking. It also weighs like a pound. It definitely weighs more than that, but you understand what I'm saying. So here is, I don't even want to get this thing dirty. Pardon me for a second while I set you down and I take off my dirty gloves to touch this. I don't want to like contaminate it. So here is a twin disc. It's already bolted together. All the bolts are in it. So there's the other disc. And there's the steels that are already bolted in. And then this is a Clutch Masters FX1000. So this is meant to hold all the power, hopefully. So that's what we're getting into. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to crawl under there and put all this stuff in. And then hopefully maybe even have time to stuff in this tonight. We'll see about that. I don't know if I'm feeling that adventurous. It'd be nice to get this all installed correctly. There's quite the amount of detail because it's so easy to strip out all of this hardware. So I actually want to take my time. It was expensive. Got to make sure that I actually follow instructions on this. I don't want to have a failure with it, of course. So, moving on, we will come back and get this guy installed. Maybe take a couple pictures of it installed because it's surely pretty. It's a shame it's getting all sealed up in there where no one's gonna see it. Okay, so this is when the clutch arrived and I was just taking it out of the box and marveling at how nice it looks because I knew what I was about to pull out would be a burnt potato chip. So this is a Clutch Masters FX1000 twin disc. It has one sprung and one unsprung disc. Other than that, I didn't really read up too much about it. I'm just trusting LOJ, and I said, what do I need? I want this, blah, 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 and bam. So I yanked the transmission out of this old beast, and take a look at that. Nice and toasty on the pressure plate, and the disc is completely warped all over the place. All the material's gone off of it and has transferred everywhere else. So, yeah, nice and fried. So moving on. Well, not moving on yet. You can see all the nice clutch dust. Nice. Yeah, that got hot. Anyway, you guys saw the video. Use your imagination. So here's all the stuff, all the good stuff. I just swap out a new throwout bearing and I just cleaned some stuff up and then bolt and torque down my new flywheel here. I always want to say flex plate since I'm mostly an auto guy. And then I got the clutch installed very carefully with all the included steps. Bolted everything down, took a million pictures. I wasn't sure if they'd be blurry while I was laying under there. And then I spent the good part of an hour and 20 minutes trying to get my transmission back in. And what I realized was it's now hitting the trans tunnel. You can see in that photo on the left side, the trans tunnel sticks out pretty far into where the transmission goes. So since the clutch and flex plate, the flywheel is essentially taller to handle the two clutch discs and a friction disc in between, it's coming out farther. So the transmission, you actually have to guide the input shaft on sooner, farther back, and now it hits the transmission tunnel with the bell of the transmission. And I could not see or find out why I could not get this transmission in, because I had pulled it out an hour or two prior to this, and I was getting so mad until I realized that the bell was stopping me from getting high enough up and in to even get the input shaft on. So I pulled it out and took a rest, and I'll come back at it. I'll have to hammer part of that trans tunnel a little bit and try again. Other than that, there's plenty more to do with this car, so take a break and do some other stuff.